Gearing up for another big clash. It's the last elimination round heat for the man, Deivid Silva. He's out there in the red, the Brazilian. Crosby Colapinto representing California, USA in the blue, and Edgard Groggia from Santos, Sao Paulo. He will be in that white jersey, and we had a huge clean-up set at the end of that last heat.
Silva had a hard time getting any waves in this heat, so he's got to get back on. He's going to prove himself in this heat.
Yeah, this is a big one. Deivid Silva surfing in his fifth Margaret River event to grab heat wins, and at the moment he needs some really bad. He's in 26th place below the cut line. In fact, all three surfers in this heat below the cut line coming into this heat, so someone is heading back to the Challenger Series here.
Yeah, this is when you really start to feel the heartbreak. I feel like it's heats like this that are...
You understand this situation, and you made the point earlier. We'll get back to that in just a second as we see now Crosby Colapinto out on the open face. This wave kind of tapering off. But Rich, you touched on it before. In conditions like this, you want to pay attention to your rival, but ultimately you're just trying to get yourself in good positions to capitalise on the swell. The Western Australia Margaret River Pro is it really presents a challenge for our competitors. We always knew this was going to be high drama, but the size of the swell just adds that other element as we see Deivid Silva up here at the moment. Winds through that first carve. That's all he's going to extract out of this wave. But yeah, the excitement levels are elevated with the increase in the swell.
Oh, absolutely, and it really does separate, although a lot of other things do as well, but it really does separate the profession, like the best from the best, because so many of us can sit on the beach and be like, yeah, like I would love to surf Margaret's.
Really, I don't want anything to do with the upper end of main break Margaret River of that size.
Those days are done. As we see Deivid Silva just getting a bit of a swoop off the top, just the one turn. He actually gets a little bonus section here, a little rebound on the inside. But again, wave choice at this point seems to have been difficult for anyone to figure out in this heat so far.
Thought he was going to get a shoey happening down there for a minute. But Bam is just, he's an Aussie icon. Looking forward to his next clash in the octagon, but great to have him down here supporting the competitors we see on the outside. Big set rolling through, punching through the back of that one.
Unfortunately in our sport.
Yeah, Kaipo, such a huge heat for these three competitors.
Yeah, there goes Deivid.
Yeah, Deivid Silva. He's picked off a smaller set wave. It's given him the opportunity to let go of a couple of turns here. Swoops off the top. Remember, there hasn't been a whole lot to speak of performance-wise in this heat so far. So this one, it might help him just elevate his position here at the moment, only after a 2.84.
Ate him up, unfortunately, but he got a nice turn out the back. Let's look at Deivid's as well. So really nice first carve. This is finally one of those waves that offered up multiple maneuvers, just like we were talking about. Gorgeous second turn, gets up to this one early and holds that line all the way down.
Just figuring stuff out. He's committed now, and here he goes.
Yeah, he's in a better position now, and he's going to draw off the bottom. Bit of foam on the face to deal with, but let's go of a nice clean carve to get started. This is a bit more like it for a man that's got more work to do than any other competitor in this draw to save himself on the CT. He's got to climb a great distance, back in 34th position to get us the report, because there is a lot of set waves rolling through in this exchange.
Gosh, there is, and it doesn't get any easier to watch that end section, but that carve was beautiful. That first turn Edgard let go of, came round, and you could just tell he didn't have enough speed to get out of that.
Have a look on the outside here. It looks like Crosby's almost loses it. Big bump in the face there. It stays on his feet and knows if he can get a couple of good turns done, he might be able to convert this into a decent score. Had a 4.5 on his previous ride. As he loads up for the finish, gets there early, just kicking on the fins, and it feels like, Rich, these competitors are adapting to what has unfolded in the opening stages of the heat here.
These bigger sets, so as we see here, Cross almost loses it, does well to engage that rail, set his line, nice opening swoop. You can see how comfortable he is, and so much chatter as he comes off the bottom there. It's almost disguised how much bump is on the face of these waves. You keep seeing their boards trying to jump out of the wave face as they're laying into their bottom turns. But Cros gets to that last turn nice and early. Let's see what happens on the airdrop here. So, wow, right on his toes. Gets the fins hooked in, gets that inside rail hooked in. Now he readjusts, gets his position right in the money zone so that he can start to dig in this first turn. Beautiful opening swoop. Laying that board beautifully on rail, nice form.
Those fins catching, Rich. What's Crosby's go-to with his equipment?
Yeah, Cros is, he likes to switch around actually. He's been riding the Pizel fin a lot lately. We're actually working on a new template for him at the moment, so he's got...
The heat is on.
Yeah, I was having a look at Crosby. I'll get back to that in a second.
Here goes Silva. Let's see if he can put a bit of space between himself and Edgard and maybe even get himself into the lead here. It's a wild ride. Even though the wind's been offshore, we knew that there was going to be some residual bump on the face because it was howling onshore most of yesterday. As he brings this one through to the inside with 10 minutes to go, we'll do a lap.
Yeah, Crosby, you know, I was doing my, everyone does, your nightly Instagram stalking. Crosby, his last post, he was saying he knows where he is. He knows he's below the cut line, but he's seeing it as a really cool chance to write a story.
Score to attain here. But let's watch what Deivid Silva got done on this one. So this was that 2.93. So you can see Deivid just steering the board around. Not really attacking any sections here. The wave sort of sat down a little bit. And there may have been a little end section here that Deivid could maybe have done another little snap to finish off. But just straightens out.
Probably should have just looked for an extra hit, even if it's just a tap to up the requirement even to a 4. For Edgard, as we see him up now. And can he make this one count? He's going to turn off the bottom. And that was fortunate because Edgard didn't get into that ride, didn't cross over Deivid Silva's line.
Yeah.
He may not have known. Like, tactically, he could have taken that track and forced the interference there. We've seen that so many times before. You can't cross the line of a surfer with priority, have you? And on the outside, Edgard, he's going after that 3.61 here. Needs to really attack because this is a medium-sized wave, so needs to surf it up. Big section standing up here.
Yes.
Gets a nice turn, gets out in front of that white water.
Never really got onto it. And then this is the wave behind. Quick check fade. Pumping for speed here. Gets a little clean snap. And then this final moment. This is where all the points are. Committed turn. Big carve down under the lip. Rides out of it.
Knows that might be a chance at getting him up into second place with 4.5 minutes to go. Silva now looking for a response. Kicks on the fins. And he'll look for the finish. Just places that board over the final section here. A scrappy affair here in Heat 4 with so much on the line.
Oh, absolutely. But I do really feel like there's a big point of difference right there between Edgard and Deivid's wave. We'll break it down when we go through these replays. But Edgard really laid it all on the line, under the lip on a pretty scary end section there.
You can see the emotion starting to click in there. Deivid Silva on the outside. Gets a nice snap to start things off. Patiently waits, comes off the bottom, a little slice mid-face. And then this finishing turn, just gliding it off the whitewash there.
At different stages throughout the heat, forced to adapt and move to the inside and pick off some of those medium-sized ones to chase down the scores they needed.
Yeah, I feel like I was so invested in the action and all the big sets that were coming through that I did forget that unfortunately we were losing one of these surfers to the Challenger Series. And